Bonjour, and welcome to Destination Europe.
This time around, we're going to the greatest sights in the City of Lights.
So come along with us on this whirlwind Parisian experience.
We begin our journey at one of the signature sights of Paris and one of the busiest roundabouts in the world. The Arc de Triomphe is the gateway into the bustling city of Paris. Packed with a swarm of traffic like an army of busy ants, you won't even know where traffic lanes start or stop. But to see it up close, no need to worry about traffic. There is an underground tunnel at your service leading directly to the center. The Arc de Triomphe is one of the most iconic sights in the city, with angels engraved beautifully on pillars welcoming you to the majestic city of Paris. The Arc de Triomphe is a symbol of French nationalism, and a flame burns as a symbol representing the French version of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Construction began in 1809 by the orders of Napoleon himself. It took 27 years to complete, an awfully large structure for a person of such small stature. Compensating? You decide. Standing 45 meters wide, 22 meters deep, and almost 50 meters tall. It's 280 steps to the top, and you'll feel it, so hop on the treadmill now. There's a great view of the city at the top. Enjoy the moment to take it all in, and while you're at it, snap a picture. This is a sight you don't want to forget. Running between the Arc de Triomphe and the Place de la Concorde is the Champs-Élysées, the most famous boulevard in Paris. Originally serving as a place for heroes to relax, it is now the place for Parisians and tourists to shop till they drop. Almost 2 kilometers long and 70 meters wide, the Champs-Élysées is filled with cafes, theaters, and luxury shops. You'll find brand names such as Hugo Boss, Swarovski crystals, and much more. If shopping at these stores is much more than your wallet can handle, you can do as the French do and faire du léchi trinant. Shopping never tasted so good.
Part of experiencing France is, of course, experiencing the food. Come with me as I show you how I made this delicious Nutella crepe. I didn't know how much to put on it, and I was like, can I spread? Yeah. All right, ready? Oh yeah. Pretty good. After eating that delicious crepe, I'm washing it down with a cappuccino. Okay, now that is seriously really good. You hear that? That's the bells of Notre Dame. Let's go find Dimitri and check it out.
The grotesque physique of the gargoyles, the slope of the flying buttresses, and the 10-meter rose window. Yep, it's got to be one of the most famous cathedrals in the world, Notre Dame. The cathedral stands at a solid 315 feet tall, 226 feet wide, and took nearly 200 years to build. Maurice de Sully, the Archbishop of Paris from 1160 to 1196, dedicated the cathedral to Mary, the Mother of God. In fact, Notre Dame de France literally translates to Our Lady of France. If you think the outside is breathtaking, just wait till you step inside. You'll find sculptures, paintings, stained glass, and so much more. Here you can participate in devotion, dedicate a candle, or leave a message of peace. Notre Dame is one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture. Just imagine how much time and effort it took to create this beautiful cathedral. It is the sublime Gothic architecture that inspired Victor Hugo to write his classic novel. Hugo's original motivation was actually to raise awareness of the value of Gothic architecture, which was being destroyed to make way for newer buildings. After seeing the beauty inside, a quick journey up the staircase leads to another unimaginable view. Take a look at the city from the gargoyles' perspective, and when the bells of Notre Dame ring, it bounces across the flying buttresses and into the city of Paris below.
At first glance, it looks like a bridge bedecked with jewels, but look closer and you'll see love has a permanent place in Paris. Being the city of romance, people from all over the world come here to lock their love into place. A couple goes about this special Paris phenomenon by getting a lock and locking it anywhere on the bridge. After securing the lock, you throw a key into the River Seine. Though the most notable bridge is behind Notre Dame, you'll find locks all over the city. Sweet amour.
Just a hop across the Seine and you'll find the most famous Parisian bookstore, Shakespeare & Company.
Once upon a time, writers and artists gathered here, and this small shop held the biggest names. Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, James Joyce, and many others would gather to write their classics. What a way to invoke the muse. No cameras are allowed inside, so all the more reason you must visit the shop. But it's not the novels available for purchase that gives this shop its shine, it's the shelter it provides for established and upcoming writers. That's right, writers can live and sleep in the bookstore. The bill for the bed, a one-page autobiography, and the promise to work in the bookshop for 2 hours per day. 40,000 writers have accepted the offer over the years. Just bring your sheets, paper, and bedding.
The next place you're going to want to be is a place you didn't want to be. The Conciergerie converted from a parliamentary house to a prison in 1391. The Conciergerie has housed some of France's most famous people, and at the top of the list, the Queen herself, Marie Antoinette. This was her final stop before becoming a foot shorter. The actual site of her cell has since become a chapel in her memory. You can also learn about the French Revolution, where names of families who fell to the guillotine line the wall. The ever-changing exhibits in the entryway offer a fresh contrast to the darkness and death that haunt this building. Although this stop used to only offer prisoners one-way tickets, you can come back to visit as many times as you'd like. Right next door is a place where people look to the light, in more ways than one.
The Gothic spire of Sainte-Chapelle is the only thing that marks this hidden chapel from the rest of Paris. You think that's cool? Wait till you see inside.
The French phrase filou means let there be light. The French took this to heart when constructing what some consider the greatest Gothic structure in all of Europe. It was originally built to house Louis IX's holy relics, including the prize jewel, Christ's crown of thorns, sitting high on its own altar. Standing in Sainte-Chapelle is like looking at the center of a kaleidoscope, colorful light beaming in from stained glass in every direction. The 15 separate panels depict over 1,000 scenes from the Bible. Planned and built in just 6 years, the 720 stained glass pieces survived the fires of the 17th and 18th centuries and remain one of the greatest exhibits of stained glass in the world. If you want to get the full effect, make sure to hit this spot on a sunny day. Très magnifique!
For our next stop, we're heading west, and just like in the States, we're searching for gold. The Grand Dome of Les Invalides crowns France's largest military museum, wearing 26 pounds of gold. Inside, you'll find the tomb of its most famous resident, Napoleon Bonaparte. Take a look at his massive tomb, big enough for an emperor. We can't help but remember the story of this famous ruler. Napoleon would see his country rise to become the most powerful country in Europe, but he bit off more than he could chew when he invaded Russia in 1812. After he was beaten at Waterloo, he was exiled from his beloved country and died in 1821. 19 years later, Napoleon's body was exhumed from St. Helena Cemetery in Britain and brought back to France. It wasn't until 1861 that he came to his final resting place. The entrance to his crypt is guarded by 2 statues and a set of heavy bronze doors. Above the door, it translates to, "I wish my ashes to rest on the banks of the Seine among the people of France whom I so much loved." Now, after a healthy dose of history, it's time for a little bit more. Or maybe a lot more. When you visit Paris, one of the places you have to see is the Louvre. But maybe what you didn't know, it was first actually built as a fortress. Located on the right bank of the Seine, it was turned into a museum during the French Revolution. Today, the Louvre looks a little bit different. In the early 90s, the pyramid was completed by an American architect, and ever since has been the height of controversy for its modern look. 35,000 paintings and 380,000 objects are inside. Here's the real question: what are the must-sees if you're pressed for time? Like most, you're probably here to see Leonardo da Vinci's most famous work, the Mona Lisa. She's got more protection than the Pope, with bulletproof glass surrounding the portrait. Thousands of tourists flock each day to see her face, but you must look on the opposite wall. You'll find the Louvre's largest painting, entitled The Wedding at Cana. I stand a good 6'2", so you can see just how large this painting really is. In another area of the Louvre, you'll find the famous statue of Venus de Milo. The woman depicted is supposed to be Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. You'll notice the statue is famous for her missing arms. They've been lost since her discovery. One last statue you must see is the Winged Victory of Samothrace. It's known for missing a different body part, its head. Any art lover is going to find something here at the Louvre. Its collection offers thousands of other things to explore, including the Greek and Roman wings and other Egyptian statues and paintings. Find the masterpiece that speaks to you. From the classiest art form to the oldest art form, we head to our next stop. For the exotic tourist, a trip to Paris's most famous red windmill is a must.
It's the birthplace of seductive can-can dance.
And where musical enthusiasts saw Christian and Satine discover an important lesson. The greatest gift you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
At night, the colored lights shine on the 125-year-old cabaret and you feel the excitement around you. This neighborhood's raunchy reputation lives up to its nickname, Pig Alley, as it's home to many racy shops among the scandalous atmosphere. Although known for its nightlife, Pigalle is an artistically influential district because of the artists who hung out here. Among the most notable are Picasso and Van Gogh. Now, Pigalle's not for everyone, but if you're looking for a walk on the wild side, this is certainly the street to stroll.
If the hike to the top of Montmartre doesn't leave you out of breath, the view surely will. Venturing into the land of Renaissance art, Montmartre's bohemian feel is inescapable. Montmartre is best known as the artist quarter. It's everywhere, on the streets, in the park, even the walls. This district features some of the very cafes, art studios, and houses that famous artists occupied. Present-day artists carry on the tradition at the Place du Tête, right in the center of Montmartre. Street artists set up their easels and paint, sketch, and draw the beautiful sights of the city and the people that visit them. But the best picture of all is right around the corner. Towering above all is Montmartre's crown jewel, the Basilica of Sacré-Cœur. In contrast to its neighboring Gothic churches, Sacré-Cœur was constructed from white stone and features incredible domes, beautiful stained glass, and a giant mosaic. It stands tall above the city as the second highest point in Paris. On the steps of Sacré-Cœur is where we find what many deem one of the best views of Paris. Day or night, the view overlooking the entire city is absolutely stunning. But there is one that tops it.
There's the tower.
It may be what every other tourist is doing, but you can't see the city of Paris without seeing the city of Paris.
Built by Monsieur Gustave Eiffel for the 1889 World's Fair, the Eiffel Tower was not planned to be a permanent monument. Here's the blueprint: 18,000 pieces of iron and 2.5 million rivets. Remarkably, it only took 2 years to complete. When approaching the massive tower, its sheer complexity is overwhelming. To go up, you have a choice, by foot or by elevator. Take a break when you reach the first level by grabbing a bite to eat at the restaurant, or slide around on the ice skating rink with some friends. Step onto the glass and get a glimpse of how far you've already climbed. But keep climbing, because the best is yet to come. Move up to the second floor and experience Paris on a whole new level. We'll let the sights do the talking. The weather may have kept us confined to the second floor, but on a sunny day, thrill seekers can head all the way to the top.
Oh my gosh.
When you touch down on ground, don't forget your Eiffel Tower selfie.
That wraps up our travels here in Paris.
Join us next time on Destination Europe, where we take you outside the city lights and explore the French countryside.
Au revoir.